I'm pushing through my core, right, on the way through and on the way up, I'm bracing. So I keep my brace extremely strong because if I'm in this position, I'm very vulnerable to do this kind of stuff here. And we want to avoid that as possible, as much as we can. But we're looking for like hamstrings and glutes. In this movement, I like Romanian deadlifts, like bicep curls. You don't gotta load up the weight as much. All you need to do is load up enough to be able to feel the actual contraction. What is up? It's your boy Johnny Shreve, IFBB Pro to Tell Like It Is. Welcome back to another episode of Train With Me. Today, we're in Vegas. We're smashing my legs today with my boy Alex and his brother Matt. We're here at the Dragon's Lair. I've been waiting to come to the gym for a long time. I was actually at the original one in Boca, Florida, and I was training with Neil back in the day. But now we're here. I can't wait. They got so much equipment here. I'm probably gonna go past the whole volume thing just because I'm not gonna be here again for a long time because I wanna use all the shit here. So exercise selection is gonna be massive today. I'm gonna find the best pieces of equipment. We're doing a full-on equipment-only leg day today. Everything legs is gonna be on one of these pieces of equipment, and it'll be with the best one. I think that's gonna be best for us to be able to do this whole workout and be optimal. Anyway, guys, make sure you keep your eyes glued to the screen, the ears glued to the speakers. Let's get started. We're gonna warm up first, back and forth. We're gonna get our hips open up a little bit. We're staying on the machines, whatever, but I still want our hips and our back, knees, everything to get warm before we start actually just doing the machines. Basically opening ourselves up. You've probably seen me do this a million times, but I find warming up, if we're actually just warming up through the actual motion patterns, the movement patterns we're doing, and just traditionally getting our legs forward and up, opening our hips up, stretching, pushing knee forward, keep walking again, and the other side, open up, opposite hand, opposite leg, really stretching this forward, stretch your hip out, opening up, down, take a couple of steps, other leg, opening up, opposite arm, opposite leg, pushing down and up, a couple steps, and then here, and then up, stretch, up and then back. Same thing, stretching up. Cool, and you go. Smoking on good though, bitch if I'm Pluto. Passing like Saturn, can't in my table. Before we get started, guys, I want to thank my sponsor, Blue Star Nutraceuticals, for sponsoring this specific video. So if you want to know more about Blue Star Nutraceutical, hit the description below and use my code Johnny10 for 10% off. Anyway, let's get right into it. I cannot fuck with these fat guys, dripping on and she bad times. Taking her back by her ass, I think she in love with my cat size. Put it on like bad vibes. All right, so we're gonna head up the Arsenal Strength leg extension. I like this machine. It's very like adaptive, so you don't have to adjust this at all. So it's gonna basically, however long your legs are, it's gonna adjust. So there's no adjusting to this part here. The only thing you have to adjust is the back part here. Just super easy. Pull back here and pull up. It goes with you. Super easy. That's why it's dope machines. So from here, I want to get myself up. I can pull myself up and squeeze. Pull myself into the bench, like I said a million times. We're gonna pull in here. And yeah, we're gonna do a couple warm-up sets. We're gonna lock everything out. So when we're pulling up, I wanna squeeze through and squeeze up. So I'm contracting the muscle when I'm pulling through. And I'm not locking my knees out, I'm flexing the entire time. So I'm flexing my quads to pull the weight up. So I'm not just locking my knees up like this. You see when I'm pulling through, squeeze the quads and down. Oh, that's good. Go ahead. Oh. All right, warm-up's done, we're gonna dive right into it. So after this, like, there's no more warm-ups. There's no need to, do warm-up sets for each movement. We're like eccentrically loading, concentric loading this movement itself. We'll get ourselves basically primed for the rest of our workout. So we're gonna dive right into our working sets now. We're gonna do like 2 hard sets. We're gonna reach failure a few different ways. So if we don't get failure through just the actual set itself, we're gonna drop in some rest pause sets or a drop set, right? So that's what we're gonna do to really warm our legs up. Not warm up, to really beat the shit out of our legs right away. I'm gonna rest about 10 seconds and do one more set right to failure. So like as many reps as I can. So like 1 rest pause set right now. the end of this, like if we're not swinging weight and we're really just like trying to push the weight from the contraction, no momentum, you're not gonna be able to just bang out a bunch of weight or reps after. That's the whole point, is really like work your quad right from the top of the hip flexor all the way straight through, right to that knee. So don't use momentum, tie yourself in the weight, tie yourself right in the back of this bench, pull yourself down and really focus on flexing or contracting the quad while adding a load, and that's gonna make the rep that much harder. Deep breath in. Let your heart rate calm down a little bit. 3, 2, as many reps as possible. Let's go. 1, that's it. Come on, push. 2, good. 3, don't let it fall down. Control it down. That's it. 4, push, come on, up. Good. 2 more. Push. 1 more all the way down. I want you all the way down, all the way down. Now squeeze from there. That's it. Up. Good, control it down. 2, 3. Good. That's how it should look. So we got a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and then we're gonna hit back our set.
I'm gonna put it on the max because I did a lot of reps the last one. So I know this is gonna be way too heavy for me, and I'll be able to bang out at least like 4 or 5. Then I'm gonna drop the weight. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop the weight until I get my full amount of reps. So I have 15 reps I wanna do with the same tempo. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the max load, do as many good reps as I can, lower the weight, and keep going until I get the max reps, which is 15 reps. I don't wanna get more than that. I shouldn't be able to get more than that.
I skirt, I vanish, I slide outlandish.
7, 8, 9. Jumping to 3, 10. 1, 2, 3.
Now, I mean, this entire gym's arsehole strength, and we have some prime stuff as well too. But I like this. Very few gyms have a kneeling hamstring curl. Now, what I like about this is you can literally keep the 1 foot on the ground, right? So 1 foot doesn't have to be off like this. So we're basically standing, and we're in a better position here where our hips are gonna be basically, we want them pressing into this bench still. So we don't want you to be like this. I'll go this side. We don't want this to happen. We want this. We wanna be here. So to make it even harder, what we're gonna do is, I like to keep myself pushed back here, from here, and we're gonna push from here and keep ourselves completely straight up instead of leaning this way. So that's the adjustment we're gonna do here. If you have anyone has this machine, I think there's a Life Fitness machine like this, but you're kneeling in it, same thing. You're gonna prop yourself up in this one. Not much warming up to do. We're gonna start from here right away, push from here, chest up, we're gonna squeeze up. You guys have told me a show before, if you just literally extend your hip back like this and just curl with your knee behind, you feel your hamstring that much more. This machine puts you in that position right away. So same thing, push back. I love this machine. I feel it in my bum. My bum hole. Okay. That's it, hips forward. Okay, hit the hip forward, push right in there. 3, there you go. 4, all the way up. Come on, 5, push up. There you go. 6, that's it. 7, good. 8, good. 9, good. 10, that's it. 1, come on, 2, 3, 4, come on. That's it, 1 more, up. Good, good. Next leg. So I do a little technique. I do the same thing when I'm doing lying, is I'll actually lift, I'll come up and I'll lift this hip up. I hyperextend a little bit from the hip because it puts a little more pressure on the hamstring. So it's like just an extra little squeeze to just confirm that I'm hitting it completely. If you have the mobility to do it, try it. So you're basically just going from here up and then lifting that hip up a little bit from here. So just, and squeezing up. You can do it with no weight and feel the same thing. We're gonna press, so we got leg press, but we're gonna do the vertical press. So we're gonna load this thing up right away because we don't have to waste time warming up. It's an easy pattern, and I love this machine. I know how much I've used on this machine before. I have my strongest on gear, so I know what I can do around. So I know I can start off with this many plates, and I'll go from there. But we're gonna do just straight sets. We're gonna go straight as hard as we can. We're gonna go 10 to 15 reps again. We're gonna try our best to fail between 10 and 15, basically. So I'm gonna set this up a little higher next time. Butt in, there's how you lock yourself in. Push. Push. Push.
Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the fucks I ever gave
All right.
on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a fuck, that's what they don't understand. I'm back again like flu season, I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving, don't give a fuck, I don't care. Did the shit by my lonesome, no wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run, all I really want is my share. Get him, I got him, I told him it's nothing. In the discussion, fuck all them feelings.
Part of training and progressing is knowing when to push and when to pull back. And I push there, I don't need to pull back and do more or push further. I'm done here, 2 hard sets. We're gonna move on. Alex is next and Matt. And we're just like trying to limit the amount of useless sets we're doing over volume in a sense, because no point of kicking a dead horse. But again, I still can put out a lot of energy, a lot of effort, intensity still. Once I know my intensity starts to drop, like that's when I know I'm like starting to like just go overdo it.
We're still externally rotating the hips so our knees stay in line with our toes. And we're still making sure that our butt stays on this bench. So we don't want the butt to roll, the back to roll, the butt is still in here working. Come on. That's it. That's it, squeeze up. There you go. Come on. Come on. There you go. Good. Come on. Push, there you go, good. Good, one more. One more. Push, 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 good. So we have this, let's say, it's a hybrid machine. You can do hack squat in it this way, and then you can reverse and do a reverse hack squat. It's basically a lot more hamstrings. The angle is made very, very optimal. You'll be able to load this thing and really hit it good. Now, the thing about this is we're gonna basically do a Romanian deadlift here, but we're gonna get a little bit more hinging and knee flexion here a little bit to get down. So it's on an angle. So really what we can do, obviously, if we're squatting, we're here, we can get really far up. But from here, we're actually we're gonna bend back, really force. Hips gonna bend slightly this way as much as we can. As much hip flexion as possible. From here, everything's driving up. So back, squeeze, and up. And I want my hips to continue to fall back. You push back more and more, stretching this out a lot, and then squeezing through, right? And you can see my toes are still gripped in the floor. So when I'm going back, you see I'm gripping from my toes and then still pushing through. So everything's still on here. My hamstrings are getting activated a lot and glutes from my toes gripping in, my heels, and then all the way through, my toes continue to stay active. Make sure we can keep this thing as optimal as possible. Make sure you engage your core the entire time. So I'm pushing all the way down when I'm here. I'm pushing through my core, right, all the way through, and on the way up, I'm bracing. So I keep my brace extremely strong because if I'm in this position, I'm very vulnerable to do this kind of stuff here. And we want to avoid that as possible, as much as we can. But we're looking for like hamstrings and glutes. In this movement, I like Romanian deadlifts. like bicep curls. You don't gotta load up the weight as much. All you need to do is load up enough to be able to feel the actual contraction. With most exercise, no matter what, but here I don't feel like we need to load up. I find a lot of people load the muscle up too much and then they try to force it up too much and they really don't connect as much with their glutes and hamstrings. So get a weight you can do that you can actually continue to feel the contraction, but it's still enough of a load to challenge you as well too. Just like that. External rotate, all these movements. When we external rotate the hips, when we do this to line on either their toes, your glute max is responsible for that. Partially responsible for doing this. So when we do that motion while we're squatting, hinging, doing this exercise, whatever it is, your glute max takes a load immediately. So that's why we want to really avoid knee valgus, because it does the opposite of what the glute max does. You're up. Good, I want you to lift everything, go back. Everything's gonna go back. No, sorry, keep your feet where they are. But I want your shins, your thighs to hinge back, everything first, and then bend those knees to get lower. There you go, now push through and squeeze up. There you go. Now push through the knee extension, there you go. Hip flexion all the way, that's it, good. Squeeze up. Elbows underneath, there you go. Good. You need a strong brace from here too. That's it. Squeeze up, control it down, grip those toes. On the way up, you want to feel your toes clawing the ground, trying to pull itself back up from the ground. That's gonna be my biggest cue today, is make sure your toes are grabbing from here to pull yourself back up from here. Think of what your hands, your fingers trying to pull yourself up on a ledge. That's what your hands are, that's what your toes are doing, the same thing. Pull through, that's it. Squeeze up, good. And I want you to stand nice tall, right tall, right tall. There you go. That's it. Nice and tall. Good. So I always like to see where I'm at now that I haven't been on anything, and I'm not planning on going back on anything either since the end of October, beginning of November. So it's been a good while I've been off. I see where my strength is still. Remember, my strength isn't my priority, more so just like how the look, maintaining mobility, you know, a good amount of strength, but I'm not trying to get stronger, if anything. I'm trying to maintain this physique I got. But your poison feels so right. Why do I want you in your bed for me? A perfect storm, a beautiful catastrophe. That's what I mean by grabbing a weight that's gonna challenge you. Another plate would have been enough more, but it definitely would have taken away from the quality of the set. That's what I look for, is like complete quality rep, quality of tempo, quality of range of motion, quality of everything. And that essentially makes the rep that much harder. The more efficient you are, the harder the exercise gets, but the faster your body adapts and the better you look, the stronger you get in a more linear fashion than, you know, veering off, trying to push your rep, momentum, all that shit, and then all of a sudden you get injured or get an impingement, and then you're no good to anybody when you can't train. Your traditional pendulum, this machine's wicked. We're here, and then we're all the way down, and then we're up. The difference is from here now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this like a lunge instead. We're gonna keep this foot up like this, so on the way down, it's gonna land, and it's gonna come up. Right, so we're not gonna leave that toe on the ground. So we're gonna go down. We don't wanna do this and pull from here. We're gonna keep this foot like this, right? So on the way down, and this is locked out, this is not locked out. We're starting here, we're down, squeeze, out. 2, like that. And I have no weight on, and it feels like death. We're gonna rep this thing out, 15 reps, controlled. Again, I'll start my left leg. Start my position from here. Plus get it back and flat, tight core, head up. I'm gonna bend this back leg here, knee flexion, and down. My position is gonna start from here. If you haven't used this before, you can do the same thing on leg press, hack squat, whatever. But doing it this way, on this, my ass. I feel it in the deepest part of my glute and my quad too, which is really good about this. So rest one side before we start the other, because you will not be able to do it right after one after the other.
Sometimes when I train to failure, I lose feeling in the legs, but I'm feeling every single rep right now.
That's the point. You don't train to failure to fail the feeling. Like think about failure as being like doing an arm wrestle, right? And you're winning the entire time, right? Until you put them down. If you went to failure, like that's failure, but you're not all the way through. If you lose that, then you lose that. You lose that, connection, the mind to muscle connection, right? So there's no point of like gassing yourself mentally out, right? And that's what happens when people do when they train to failure. They mentally fail, right? And then they can't feel it because they're so fixed on like getting through the set. Oh my God, it fucking hurts. Right. Holy shit. And they're just struggling and they're not really feeling the muscle. You're failing because the muscle is failing, not because you're mentally failing. You're mentally getting unfocused, right?
Because I know that for the reps that you have me do, you usually have me like control it like down like 2 to 3 seconds. You think that has to do with it?
Oh, yeah. Because you think like when you run downstairs really quick, everyone does it. If you can do it, obviously, right? You don't think about it, right? But if you like slow every step down, walking through, you feel everything walking down the steps. Plus, you won't trip or fall. And if you do, you can catch yourself before you do. Or they're running downstairs, same movement, right? But you're slowing everything down, which is making it harder. And then you can catch yourself if anything happens either way too, right? So if like any of these lows we did, and if like through the rep you feel like a pop or something, you can pull out. I've done it so many times where I've pulled out of sets or reps because I felt something. Had I been doing like a more aggressive, more explosive rep with speed, I wouldn't catch it and I'd be like, oh fuck, I tear something, right? Right. So you're making that muscle stretch slowly instead of just doing this. Right. You know what I mean? So Matty being new to this kind of stuff, he's doing this stuff because we're doing it. But I wouldn't necessarily have you do this just because it's harder than a lunge. You're basically doing a Bulgarian split squat on the hardest machine, and Bulgarian split squats aren't easy either, right? So it's very similar. But that's why I don't have you do the rep. Like there's no point you doing 15.
Yeah, it's not like.
There's no point. You're just be right. There's a point. Like everybody has a threshold, right? Where eventually, like when you start, push yourself too hard, a couple of things, 1 or 2 things that happen: fight or flight. One, you're gonna just give up and like fuck this and just buckle, or like adrenaline kicks in, and even at that point you're not really focused, right? Because you're too heightened, right? One or the other. You don't want to be on either end of the spectrum. You want to be like the middle of the spectrum when you're training. So if you can have controlled aggression and intensity, good. But if you're just intense up here, get through you're not focused. Some people can't do both. So having good controlled aggression to the point where you can, exhaust yourself, good. But having too much not being focused isn't good. Or then putting somebody too hard where they are just want to get the fuck out of the machine isn't smart either. So if you're a coach, don't beat the shit out of your athlete just to beat the shit out of them. Exhaust them through the actual moving pattern. If they can't do the moving pattern, regress the pattern and exhaust them in that way as well, right?
Draw your nose.
Oh. For 3 hours sleep, I'm doing pretty good. Alright guys, that is it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. I'm gonna come with a tell like it is, transparent, vulnerable truth. If you try this workout out, let me know how it goes. Comment below. Let me know how it felt, how it worked out for you. If you have any questions, comment below. Anyway, guys, for coaching, johnrashid.com. If you want to know more about my coaching, guys, book yourself 15 or 30-minute phone consult. At the end of the consult, I deduct it off any package that you pick. Also, guys, hit the description below for those discount codes and promo codes to help change your life or save life for the better. Also, guys, add me on Instagram and TikTok. Send your products pics, training pics, and your video clips, and I'll repost it for you because you know how it is. Iron sharpens iron, progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace.